Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy card using some fun fall colors. This card uses a stamp set called Gently Falling, and the designer series paper is called Sweater Weather and is in the holiday catalog. You're going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This measures 2.5 by 4 inches. I'm going to use a greeting from a stamp set called Wetlands, and I'm going to ink it up in chocolate chip. So just tap tap, and I'm going to put it right along the bottom and press firmly. This is from a stamp set called Gently Falling, and it's a 2-step stamping set. What that means is there's 2 stamps used together to make one image. This is what I would call a bold image stamp, and this is your coordinating outline image. We're going to ink up the bold image stamp with crushed curry. So tap tap. Before we stamp this on the cardstock, we're going to add some Tangerine Tango ink right around the edges. There is a technique called rock and roll where you can take the stamp and roll the edges into your ink pad, but I actually prefer using a sponge dauber. So that fits right on the end of your fingertip, and just pat on the ink pad. Again, this is Tangerine Tango. You don't want to rub the ink around the edges. That'll actually remove the ink. And you don't want to press straight up and down. You want to have your dauber at an angle, so you're really just hitting the edge of the stamp. And then just work that around. Now I do trim my stamps really close to the edge. So when I'm looking through the acrylic block, it's easy for me to get the exact placement that I want. And I'm going to tilt this leaf a little bit to the left. So you can see we have all that pretty color with the crushed curry and the Tangerine Tango around the edges. And now we're going to stamp the outline image directly on top, and we're going to go back to the chocolate chip ink pad. So just tap, tap, tap. Now again, I do trim my stamps really close to the image, so I can actually have this hover right over the image that I stamped previously. And as long as I'm looking directly on top and I don't see the other stamp showing through, I can just stamp straight down. Now this stamp set's also pretty forgiving, so even if it's not perfectly lined up, it still looks nice. So we're going to add a little bit of the linen thread. You're going to measure the linen thread from one end of the cardstock to the other, and you're just going to go 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to double that. You're going to keep it doubled, so I actually have 2 strands, and I'm going to slip it on around the back. And tie a simple knot. We're going to trim off the excess. Because we went all the way around, it's easy for us to kind of scoot this, and I'm going to slide it a little bit to the right. And I actually like to kind of open this up a little bit. We're going to add this to the front of the card with dimensionals. We're going to set this aside. The base of the card is soft suede, 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored down the middle at 4 1/4. We have a strip of the designer series paper. This is from the holiday catalog, and it's called Sweater Weather, which I think is really cute. And we're going to use a piercing mat. And this template here, see the straight line of holes? We're going to use that to help evenly space our brads. So you're going to set this right on top. I'm going to follow this row of holes right there. So I'm going to poke my first hole here, and then I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3 holes and poke the 4th one. Skip 1, 2, 3 and poke the 4th one. We're going to add some of our gold brads. And I like to put them all in at the same time and then open them up from the back. You can leave your foam mat out for this part. Just turn this over. Use your piercing tool to open them up a little bit, and then it's easier to pry them open. So once you kind of get that started, you can just fold that back. So set this down on your work surface. You can use your acrylic block if you want, and just press that, and that'll flatten out those brads a little bit more. If you notice that it starts to kind of bend the paper like that, just bend them back a little bit so they're laying as flat as they can. We're going to add adhesive around all the edges, but we're going to reinforce this part here where the brads are with glue dots, just to make sure that stays stuck down on the card. So I'm going to add probably 3 glue dots, one right in the corner as close to the edge of the paper as I can get that, and then 2 more, again as close to the edge of the paper as you can get it. So I'm just lining the cardstock up on the grid paper. This will help me layer this piece straight as well. Now we can add the first piece that we stamped right to the center. Pretty quick and easy, and you can make a lot of these cards using the designer series paper. This is cut 2 inches by 5 1/4, so you'll get 12 strips out of each 12 by 12 piece of designer series paper. Here's another version of that card. This one is using the same Sweater Weather designer series paper. I substituted chocolate chip cardstock for the base. The leaf is stamped first in Soft Sky, and then Tangerine Tango is sponged around the edges before stamping on the white cardstock. Then the outline image is stamped on top in Chocolate Chip. I hope you enjoyed these projects today. For more ideas, you can visit me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks and have a great day.